NVIDIA and other chip stocks surge over 5% Thursday as tech led a market rebound. Joining us now with more on the sector is BofA Securities Senior Research Analyst Vivek Arya. Vivek, great to have you with us. I know we highlighted the 6% gain that NVIDIA saw yesterday, but if you take a look for the week, NVIDIA is actually underperforming the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. NVIDIA's down about 2%, and the SOX is up almost 3%. And there have been doubts since probably that June 20th key reversal date where NVIDIA shares hit a new high and then closed on lows, where the stock has really been struggling. So where do you come out on how the stock is valued and if there was just too much hype in the stock?
Good morning, Melissa. So I think practically speaking, whether it's NVIDIA, whether it's the rest of the semiconductor space, we could stay volatile until NVIDIA reports later this month, and we have the required reset in any delays associated with their new Blackwell chip, which I think is actually not that big. But if we take a step back, we have to separate what's happening in the market from the fundamental side. I think what's happening in the market and the volatility has nothing to do with semis. But this is where all the gains were because AI was the best game in town. And that's why these companies saw the most drawdown also during this volatility. But let's look at the fundamental side. Number one, every one of NVIDIA's top customers, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Meta or Microsoft or Google, they all said they are investing more, not less, in AI. Number two, if you look at NVIDIA's top supplier, Taiwan Semi, they had very strong outlook. In fact, this morning they gave very strong guidance for their last month of results. And number three, if you look at NVIDIA's top system partner, Supermicro, I know they got dinged on the margin side, but if you actually look at the sales growth that they showed for the next 12 months, up 90%, that is 2 times what people are modeling for NVIDIA's growth, and NVIDIA usually outgrows them. So I think the fundamentals are still extremely strong, but the market is going to go through its volatility, which we think should subside by the time NVIDIA reports its results, because the fundamentals are very strong.
So overall, the assertion here from this Bank of America analyst suggests that we will continue to see volatility in tech stocks and with NVIDIA up until the company reports earnings later this month. What this does mean for investors is that we should start to identify some important support and resistance levels that can be used for real-time trades here going forward. So specifically, as we can see here, if we sort of move into the daily chart here a bit, we can see that the stock is currently pressing right into these prior highs, which came in at 120.15. If we remember, these were the price highs that were posted during the August 1st trading session, and we have currently broken above the exponential moving average cluster on the daily chart. So overall, this is a bullish event, and as we can see in the indicator reading, the relative strength index does show a positive set of circumstances here, given the fact that we have broken above this prior downtrend line, suggesting that the prior era or time period of negative share price momentum has now run its course. So as we can see, in addition to breaking above this trend line, the relative strength index has also broken above its own exponential moving average, which is the yellow line at the bottom of the price chart here. So all of this technical activity does go far to explain why the stock is currently moving higher. However, if we take this investors and this analyst's points in mind and take them within the broader context, we can see that there is still some potential here for volatility into the end of the month as NVIDIA is still set to report its earnings release.
And the final point on valuation, if I take the Mag 7 outside of NVIDIA, they are trading, and the broad market, it's trading roughly 2 times its earnings growth for next year. NVIDIA is trading 0.8 times. Right, so it's trading less than 30 times for over 35 to 40% earnings growth. So I think fundamentals are strong and valuation is still very compelling.
Unless there's a doubt on the earnings growth. and I guess that's the key part of the equation where we'll get some more guidance from NVIDIA. In terms of the reports of the delay to the Blackwell chip, the reports first came out of the information. And I'm wondering, it's interesting because when we hear about delays to other hardware items, you think about it, is it going to be a sale denied or a sale delayed? So in your view, these are sales that will be delayed, correct? That these sales will actually happen. It's just maybe it's pushed out a quarter, 2 quarters, whatever.
Yeah, so if we look at demand for NVIDIA's Hopper product, which is the product before Blackwell, demand for that is off the charts right now. And that's what we heard from Supermicro. They got it well above consensus, and a lot of that is actually based on the Hopper product. Because we just have had this period of insane supply constraints in the industry. And just because Blackwell is delayed a little bit doesn't mean the supply constraints have gone away. So any customer who can put their hands on Hopper is still able to buy that product. Now, when it comes to Blackwell, there are many different versions of Blackwell. The most extreme versions that are in the highest, most densest version of the rack scale architecture, they are perhaps pushed out by a quarter or so. So that I think can be reflected in numbers. But when it comes to other versions of Blackwell, I do think that they will start to ship some Blackwell later this year. But the key point is that demand in combination of Hopper and Blackwell, I still think is extremely strong for them.
Overall, the supply-demand dynamic is likely to be critical for NVIDIA going forward, and this will be a very important part of the earnings release that we will be watching in upcoming press releases from the company. Currently, there is a great deal of doubt about whether or not NVIDIA will be able to match all of its supply orders, but if we're listening to what this analyst has just said, the main suggestion here would be that NVIDIA's orders will simply be delayed rather than denied. So it's not as if these orders will not be taking place. They might just be delayed a bit or held back a bit. As a result, the overall effects on earnings and share price action could be limited here going forward. If we move down to the shorter term timeframes, we can see that the stock is starting to become oversold on the hourly time frame. Specifically, now that the stock has reached recent highs coming in at 118.61, share prices have forced a condition in the relative strength index, which does suggest that share prices might be in need of a respite here, given the fact that the current reading is now above 70%. What's most interesting here is the fact that this turnaround in share prices or potential slowdown in upward price movement has come roughly in line with prior resistance levels, which came during this August 1st trading session. For these reasons, we could start to see some continued selling pressure here on a near-term basis as we head into this 120.15 resistance zone. Ultimately, what bullish traders will need to see at this point will be a clear break above this 120.15 level, because if we do, then we will start to target higher levels going forward. To the downside, initial support comes in at this old 108.80 level, which was a prior resistance zone that is now expected to work as support. As we can see here, there is some scope here for potential downside moving into this area, given the fact that share prices did show a small price gap here during prior trading sessions. Ultimately, if we did see a break back below 108.80, the suggestion here would be that upside pressure would be taken off of this stock, given the fact that we would then be trading under the entire exponential moving average cluster on the hourly time frame. If this price failure does occur near 120, we would expect to see prices move back down toward the 100 mark due to the fact that prior support zones currently come in at 97.50. And this important psychological level rests just a few dollars above this area. Here's the current market outlook for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high-value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high-conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk-to-reward metrics that target massive, market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.